Hey y'all, Irix guy here, and a lot of you have asked me, what should I do when I'm in Bermuda? And a lot of people, when they go to Bermuda, a lot of people cruise to Bermuda. And Bermuda is one of the few cruise ship ports where people can enjoy more than one afternoon in port, because normally on a cruise you dock in the morning, you've got a few hours on shore, and then you've got to be back on the cruise ship typically early afternoon. But Bermuda is a place where there's a lot of cruises that stay overnight in port, so it's an opportunity to get out on the island and explore. So what I'm going to do is share with you my recommendations as someone traveling to Bermuda as a tourist, things that you may want to consider. So there's a lot of things you need to know in advance. Now Bermuda is unlike a lot of other places. If you don't live there, you cannot rent a car. It's not allowed. So your rental options as a tourist, you can rent a moped, or you can take the public transportation, the bus or taxis. Now I will tell you, the taxis can be somewhat expensive. The buses are affordable, but there's a set number of bus stops. So it's a situation where you're not going to be able to say, "Oh, that looks like a cool beach," and just hop out of the bus. I mean, you're going from bus stop to bus stop. So that's the beauty of a moped, is that it provides you with not only an affordable way to get around the island, but also a way to get around where you don't, you're obviously not consuming a lot of gas because it's a moped, but it provides you with complete freedom. You can stop anywhere, and that's the best part about Bermuda, because there's so many beaches and there's so many historical sites, forts, and just scenery in general that you may want to stop at. Restaurants, maybe you want to stop in for some souvenirs. Now I've been to Bermuda a few times. One time I went on a cruise, so I had 2 days to experience the island. Actually, they call it the islands of Bermuda, because there's actually multiple islands that come together and create Bermuda. And then I've also stayed there for a week in a house. So I've really had the luxury to really go out and explore all of the great spots in Bermuda. So if you're going on a cruise, the first thing I would do is I would recommend booking the moped in advance. And you can check the link within this video's description. I've got links to various moped, aka scooter, rental agencies that are in Bermuda. Because if you book it in advance, you may be able to get a better rate, and you may be able to better ensure the availability of that moped when you arrive. And the good thing is, if you're on the cruise, there's a place to pick up the mopeds right there, just a few footsteps from the ship, which is very convenient. But what I would suggest, if you're married or if you're going, you're going as a couple or whatever, be sure to find out if, number one, are you comfortable driving a moped, and is your significant other, are they comfortable driving a moped as well? Because if they are, the optimal way to do it may be to rent two mopeds. Otherwise, you can get one that'll fit two people, so the confident driver and then the less confident passenger on the back. So that's something that you want to work out up front. Also, something that you're going to want to do, these scooters, mopeds, they have a little basket in the back. So that's going to provide you a room to carry a significant amount of stuff. But what I always do, I wear a backpack. And I wear a brightly colored backpack. That way when I'm driving down the road, it acts as a way to enhance the visibility of me to cars and or motorcycles, etc., that are coming up behind. Because inevitably you're going to have people passing you, because you're probably not going to be going faster than the locals, because you don't know the terrain. You don't know where the curves are and this, that, and the other. So the moped's the optimal way to get around if you're comfortable doing it. So what do? Well, this is what I did. There's often maps that you can find in the moped rental place. So you just fold it out and there's a map of the islands. So it's a safe island. Bermudians are super nice people. You shouldn't worry about feeling unsafe. So what I do is I just get off the cruise ship, get the moped, and hit the road. Now your cruise ship's probably going to be at King's Wharf, also known as the Royal Naval Dockyard. So that's one tip of Bermuda. And what I would suggest doing is just getting up early in the morning and just going tip to tip, hitting the various beaches along the way. Go all the way up to St. George's at the other tip. And the good thing is on a moped, if you did it nonstop, you could make it tip to tip probably in about an hour or so. It's not a long drive. But ultimately, you're going to want to stop and enjoy the beaches. What I would recommend, and this is from personal experience, if you're there on a cruise, one of the first beaches you're going to hit on the right as you head out of King's Wharf is called Horseshoe Bay. Horseshoe Bay is a very nice beach, but it's also a very popular beach. So if there's a cruise ship in port, that's likely going to be a beach that you go to, and there's likely going to be a ton of people from the cruise ship on that beach, so it's not going to feel secluded. So what I'd recommend doing is going past that, and you're going to pass several beaches on that same. The best beaches in Bermuda are on that side, that part of the island. So you're going to pass Horseshoe Bay, and then you'll come up on some lesser known beaches. And all of those, there's little signs. It's like a state park type sign or something, and you can pull off, and there's parking lots, and you can walk down to the beach. So there's several beaches right in there, and then you're going to come up with one called Elbow Beach, which is one of my favorites. And it's one of my favorites because there's a really nice restaurant right on the sand, and it's just a white sand beach, great for swimming. It's one that that I would probably hit first on that way out, because as I mentioned, Horseshoe Bay, coming from the cruise ship port, is probably going to be the most populated by cruise ship passengers. So I would continue on, and I'd probably hit Elbow Beach first, maybe dip in the water, cool off. Another important thing to remember, that Bermuda, you may think, oh, it's an island and it's tropical, so it's going to be warm year-round. It's not like the Caribbean, because geographically, it's right off the eastern coast of the United States. So, if you're going there during cold weather months, you're probably not going to be out in the ocean and enjoying that. So keep that in mind when you do book your Bermuda travel plans, whether it's a cruise or a vacation rental. And again, check the link within this video's description, because I've shared there links to some recommendations that I have for Bermuda. The moped rental places. If you do want to do a vacation rental, what's a place I would recommend, and just some other useful Bermuda information. Also, the backpack that I wear on the moped, and some how-to videos that I filmed in Bermuda, so that you can see what it looks like when you're packing your gear on a moped, etc. So, stop at Elbow Beach, take a dip in the ocean, maybe enjoy something to eat at the restaurant on the sand. I think it's called Mickey's. Really, really nice place, and it is kind of pricey. And then continue on and go to, if you want to do something different, there's a place called the Crystal Caves, and it's actually a cave that you can explore. You go down into a cave, and that's really neat if you're not looking for beach stuff. But if you want to continue on past that, you go to the Swizzle Inn. Swizzle Inn is a place I really like. You can get Bermudian fish chowder, which if you've never had it, you've got to have it. It's like a gumbo on steroids. If you've ever had seafood gumbo, it's like that on steroids. I really recommend it. And then obviously, if you're driving a moped, you don't want to drink. But if you wanted to have a sip of something, if you're not on a moped, they're famous for what's called a rum swizzle, and those are really really Bermuda specific drinks, and they're really good. So, stop in there, get you a bite to eat, and then you can continue on, and that'll take you to St. George's. And there's a lot of places to explore in St. George's. There's the church there, St. Peter's Church, the famous church. You may have seen it on several popular TV shows. There's some souvenir shopping in St. George's. There's also a beach right around the corner from St. George's that you may want to check out. Really nice beach, good snorkeling spot. And right behind that, there's the Fort St. Catherine, which I highly recommend touring that. Fort St. Catherine is you get really good views. You get to go down inside of the fort. There's a bunch of cannons there. It's just a really nice thing. So I would do that, and then I would continue back and go back towards the cruise ship port, and I would stop at a place called Shelley Bay. Now, Shelley Bay is a place that you probably never seen anything like it. It's just it's a flat water. There's next to no waves, and you can walk out hundreds of feet and it not even be chest deep. I mean, it's incredible how awesome that looks. So that's a place that you're probably not going to see in a lot of the travel guides. You're going to see Horseshoe Bay everywhere, but you're probably not going to see Shelley Bay mentioned. And Shelley Bay is something that you definitely should check out, especially if you're on a moped. Now, if you're in Bermuda and you're doing the vacation rental route, especially if you're staying in St. George's, and again, check the link within this video's description. There's a place that I recommend in St. George's, and it's just a short walk from the bus stop. So if you're staying there and you don't want to do mopeds, you can use the buses to get around. They're affordable. And then, if you wanted to do something and you didn't want to rent a moped, you could also do a taxi. More expensive, but it may be worth it for you. And the good thing about St. George's, if you're staying in St. George's, you can just walk down to the moped rental place. Very convenient. So I hope this is just a high-level Bermuda things to do video. Like I said, I'm very familiar with Bermuda. I've been there quite a bit. And if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be happy to point you in the best, what I feel is the best direction as far as travel advice is concerned for Bermuda. It's just a very great place. And when you do go, there's a few things that you got to do. You got to eat Bermudian fish chowder, and you got to get out and explore, because if all you see when you go to Bermuda is the cruise ship port and King's Wharf, the Royal Naval Dockyard, there's some cool stuff there, but you're probably not going to leave feeling that impressed. You've really got to get out and explore all of Bermuda to enjoy it. So thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to youtube.com/IrixGuy. Y'all have a good day.